Good afternoon. My name is Modjatba Sadria. I was born in Tehran and now I am living in Tehran. The difference between what do we want to do with ourselves and what we do with ourselves is the issue of wanting. And for me, human being becomes human being through two characteristics. One is wanting in deep sense of the word. For instance, I want to become pianist. And in order to become pianist, I have to exercise every day 8 hours for 20 years. And maybe I will never give concert. But this is what I want. So in deep sense, it's very different from because it's cold today or this afternoon, I want a hot chocolate. Okay, it's in the sense of deep sense of wanting. So the key word is wanting. What do we want to do with ourselves? I mean by ourselves, humanity, in this 21st century. And this question of what do we want to do with ourselves, I think we don't ask this question. And very often we try to say what we are doing with ourselves, or if you go much further, what we ask is what can we do with ourselves? And I think both of these questions are impoverishing. I think we need to ask the question, what do we want to do with ourselves? Because in any action there are limitations, but this is two different mindset. If we start with what do we want with ourselves, to do with ourselves and dealing with obstacles, and then saying, what can we do with ourselves? And starting and finishing with obstacles. These are very different. So I think the main question for me is at this beginning of 21st century, what do we want to do with ourselves as humanity? And we can want different things. In our wanting, there are different choices, there are different options. But the conditions of discovering those options, those choices, is to ask the question, what do we want to do with ourselves? Now, what is if I want to establish a distance between what we do with ourselves and what we want to do with ourselves, is that we have eliminated one continent from our mind, that is Africa. Africa exists in our mind or our mental map of the world as place of misery, place of conflict, place of AIDS. If you ask, that's a guess, a random guess, if you ask 10 people if they know a good African painter today, if they know 2 good African authors today, I think you won't get many answers. So Africa has been eliminated from our mental map of the world, but it's not only Africa. We unconsciously or consciously eliminate different parts of the world from our mind setting. And when you ask the question of what do we want to do with ourselves, right away you come confronted with this, the way we are dealing with ourselves, this amputation of parts of humanity, this cutting off of parts of humanity. And any amputation by someone will justify another amputation by someone else. is an absolute logic, but this absolute logic is operational. Therefore, the question remains that what do we want to do with ourselves cannot be exclusive of any part of humanity. Do we like them? Don't we like them? It doesn't change. If we amputate them, they will amputate us. And this is one of the paradoxes of 21st century. Everybody is able to amputate the other one from his or her mental map. So this is my main question, my main fundamental interest. What do we want to do with ourselves as humanity in a non-exclusive way, in a non-amputation way? And as it doesn't have a clear-cut answer, as it's not, the answer cannot be a simple formula, we need to create new kind of knowledge. We need to create new ways of thinking, new ways of understanding, and I underline new because I think the kind of knowledge that we have, the kind of understanding that we have, they are not accurate, they don't correspond to the need of complexities and richness that we have. So we need to come to these new ways of understanding, new quality of knowledge in order to become more able to empower ourselves to answer the question of what do we want to do with ourselves. Those efforts to create these new understandings, this new quality of knowledge, needs to be individually done. They need to be also done collectively, community-wise, network-wise. And then one of the major potentiality of pathways to reconciliation, pathways to reconciliation, global reconciliation networks, is that we will have many answers. We will have different and many answers, and none of these answers are perfectly wrong or right. Each of our answers have some element that could help us to converge towards the answer to the question, what do we want to do with each other at this beginning of 21st century, us as humanity.